I need a paddle. Look at this.
Look at that. Oh, good. Good. No, what the fuck was that? Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Imagine hearing your name in the dark, seeing headlights that don't move, and realizing the ground beneath you isn't safe anymore. No explanation, no clear threat, just a growing sense that you shouldn't be there. When every sense tells you to leave, would you listen? A quiet overnight escape led a solo camper into the forests near Loch Va in the Scottish Highlands on August 18, 2025. The footage comes from Eleanor Grace Adventures, a YouTube channel known for solo travel and reflective wild camping in remote places. Near Aviemore, Eleanor entered the woods seeking isolation, only to find a silence that felt deeper and more unsettling than expected.
Around here, apparently around here, is a very old and abandoned car. I wanted to come here to find this really creepy abandoned old car. How the hell did they get a car down here? Was it airlifted in? Then I found a little carved off path, so it's got to be around here somewhere. It's got to be. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for like a big...
The area feels empty, untouched, and far removed from roads or regular foot traffic. Each step takes her farther from town and deeper into a space that feels sealed off from the outside world, as if the forest is holding its breath.
Hiya, mate. You been here a while, or...?
I've done a fair bit of research on this car, and some things are left together what I found from previous explorers online. This is an Opel Olympia, a 1938 model, which is also a left-hand drive.
There's like a really old tin there.
It was made by the German manufacturer Opel and likely imported from Europe around this time, as this is an earlier model. I'm still unsure of how exactly Opel got here. Yes, I'm giving her a nickname because she deserves one, okay? My guess is that this part of the forest was once easier to reach by car.
While searching off the main path, she comes across something unexpected, a vintage Opel Olympia from the late 1930s, abandoned deep among the trees. The area around it is dense, with no clear access route, making its presence feel oddly misplaced. Heavy rain begins to fall, and thick mist rolls in across the forest. Instead of waiting it out, Eleanor chooses to enter the loch. As she swims, the forest feels unnaturally quiet.
No better time than swimming in the rain. I mean, seriously. Who's in that case? There's just one person here that's swimming in torrential rain, me. And there must be people hiding in trees. Like, what the actual hell is she doing? Woohoo! Your dog is so cute. Really cute.
She's an idiot.
Oh, really? So am I. Don't worry about it. So nice, so happy. Oh, it's peeing it down. Retreat under tree. We've still got a camp. And if this is going to be the weather tonight, I'll always remember this day. That car, I'll always remember that car. I wish I could have camped, like, next to the car.
As evening sets in, Eleanor is forced to move after noticing parking restrictions and finds a new spot near the trees.
On Google Maps. We've come in further down a little bit and I'm gonna see what I can find here. This is absolutely stunning. You hear the birds? I don't know if you can, my mic's on. Wow. And I am covered by a tree, so hopefully it's actually not too bad.
She begins setting up her new tent while insects swarm relentlessly. The forest stays unnervingly quiet, and the stillness slowly turns the space around her uneasy.
What you can only do. Look at the sun coming out, look, between the trees. That's beautiful. Look at the way I'm sat. This is not attractive, sat like this. I've had to keep dried foods in my car for how long? Because I've been on this trip a while now. And I'm going to have a pot noodle. It's better than nothing. Midgies. Oh, for God's sake, Ellie. I left the sachet in. Come on. Not really. I might have to split this up. Just waiting for my pitter. Now what? This is my first time ever. Now, obviously I've camped a lot, but it's my first time ever camping. Like, I've got a rucksack full of stuff. This is how obviously a lot of wild camping is done. Stir crazy. Again. Sometimes you've just got to listen to yourself. I just know that I wouldn't enjoy it. I'm not going to enjoy this. I'm going to have to try and figure out a way to do this like where I actually enjoy it, because if I'm not enjoying it and I'm just fidgeting all the time, like sat there for hours in the silence. 2 cars within the space of 2 minutes have just beat me when I was trying to sort out the back of the car. 2 blokes. I just went.
Later that night, after deciding to leave, Eleanor returns to her vehicle and sorts her gear at the back. 2 cars pass by and sound their horns as they go. Brief but intrusive, the attention feels unsafe and confirms that leaving was the right choice. Some viewers believe the experience reflects natural isolation and coincidence, while others point to how subtle moments, silence, isolation, and unwanted attention can change perception. When nothing seems clearly wrong, how do you decide whether to stay calm or trust your instincts and leave? Hold on a sec. If you're enjoying this so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's continue. A filmmaker and urban explorer known for documenting unsettling investigations on YouTube, Jasko often pushes into abandoned places and remote forests with his friends Chris and Ben. Yet one location stood apart: the Devil's Forest, infamous for violence, strange deaths, and disappearances. On September 16, 2025, Jasko and Chris camped deep inside it, unaware the calm would not last. While walking along a trail, Jasko suddenly heard his name being called in Chris's voice.
I just heard my name being called from down the trail.
The problem was that Chris was positioned nearly a quarter mile away in the opposite direction. What Jasko experienced next would cost him countless hours of sleep afterward.
But Chris is in that direction. Chris? But if he's down there, then... What the f***? Yo! Who's down there? Hello?
This was not the first strange event Jasko had encountered in this forest. Years earlier, he had camped there during winter with his friend Ben. While they slept, footsteps crunched just outside their tent, and a spirit box had warned of someone approaching.
Scottish.
Moments later, a scream echoed across the frozen woods.
Oh, Ben! Yo, what the fuck was that? Yo.
When they checked the area, they found fresh footprints pressed into a log resting on a frozen lake.
What?
Look on that log right there.
Holy...
Ben? Those are feet prints. Look at that. What? No.
The tracks appeared without explanation and ended just as suddenly. To this day, that night remains unexplained. Returning to the present, Jasko had just experienced what he described as the scream of his life. Soon after, he and Chris were about to learn the true legend surrounding the Devil's Forest.
Chris?
Yo.
Chris, did you hear that? Somebody just break a fucking window? What was that? What was that?
That was so loud.
As they prepared to sleep, a loud sound resembling shattering glass came from just outside their van. When they checked, nothing appeared damaged or broken.
Something there?
I don't know.
But Chris, what would make that glass noise?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. It doesn't make sense. It makes no sense.
Is someone out here like messing with us?
The worst was still to come. Only moments later, Jasko and Chris encountered the most terrifying moment they had ever faced.
Chris!
That was
That was a gunshot.
That was absolutely...
That was a gunshot. Did you see anything?
There's a light. There's a
What?
fucking light right there.
Oh!
What is that?
Oh, shit!
What is that? There's somebody out
Chris,
there?
what the fuck? Yo,
What is that?
yo, there's someone out there. There's someone out there.
There's actually someone... Bro, is that something?
Bro, that's a light. That's a fucking light. It's moving. Chris, it's moving. There's someone outside the van right now.
What are they doing? Oh my God. There actually has been somebody here the whole time.
What the fuck?
From the trees, a moving light appeared, confirming that someone or something was nearby and circling their location.
Bro, if they have a gun and we're fucking hearing shit.
Fearing for their safety, they abandoned the campsite and ran barefoot into the night, determined not to stop until they were miles away from the forest. Whether the experience was caused by something paranormal or by real people remains unclear. What is certain is that Jasko entered the Devil's Forest twice, and both times he was forced to flee for his life and the safety of his friends. Their escape shows that sometimes leaving is the only option, but not everyone gets that chance. That became clear when Brendan later found himself trapped as headlights and footsteps closed in on his van. Some believe these encounters point to human threats, while others suspect something far more unsettling. Would you stay and investigate, or leave without looking back? Brendan Explores is a channel centered around calm trips, simple food, drinks, and quiet scenery. On March 19, 2024, however, the experience took an unexpected turn. The problems began before the adventure even properly started. The night was bitterly cold. Vehicles raced through the area, and motorhomes came and went well past midnight. Brendan spent the night drifting between sleep and shivering, waiting for the sun to warm the van. By morning, the scene appeared peaceful. Frost covered the roof, the sun rose steadily, and there was finally a moment to breathe. The day began normally. Breakfast was made, gear was packed, and after a few light moments with Steve, they headed toward the B-52 crash site. The trail quickly proved difficult.
Well, you can definitely tell we're getting higher. There's a little bit of snow on the peaks here. I dare say it, and this is not, I repeat, not for dramatic effect, but we haven't seen another sign yet. We saw the one sign at the very start of the trail. We're slipping and sliding everywhere. Hopefully we get, give me a sign!
Icy sections, deep mud, soaked shoes, and long miles lay ahead. Even experienced hikers they encountered warned that the route would be challenging under those conditions. Eventually, Brendan chose to turn back.
With the temperatures being sub-zero right now, even though the sun's shining, it is a cold day. I've now got wet feet. I know from previous experience, from doing various different things in my youth, with at least 3 or 4 miles to go, would be a pretty silly decision for my health. So it's not very often I turn back. I didn't feel safe going forward, and I think you have to be honest with yourself and actually look at what's going to come if things go wrong.
With sub-zero temperatures, wet feet, and dangerous terrain still miles ahead, continuing would have risked his health. It was not an easy choice, but safety came first. The pace of the day slowed again. Brendan walked through Bakewell, picked up pastries, filmed briefly, then drove to a quiet hillside location to camp. It felt like a place meant for a peaceful night. After dark, everything changed. As Brendan settled in, something struck the top of his partner's van, loud enough to shock him alert.
You alright, mate?
Yeah. And there's a car. Did you have it as well?
Yeah.
Like a.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at you, mate. They were bit by the van. I don't know what he's doing up there. He's the one
Hang on.
worrying me a little bit.
Yeah, hang on.
I've got something to say.
What time is it?
You stay away from my van.
Honestly, when I heard that car go past, what were they doing?
I don't know, but we've got somebody up there who's got a big spotlight on. He's our problem, because he's just driving backwards and forwards. If you look, right, is there somebody up there?
That scared the living daylights out of me.
Wow, I just banged my roof, I did, then.
Jesus.
Soon after, a small van passed by, followed by a Land Rover, both moving quietly as they circled the area. Later, headlights appeared on the ridge above. A vehicle sat motionless with its engine off, lights aimed directly at the camp, neither leaving nor approaching, simply watching.
So what are they playing at up there then?
Is that light up there?
It's just stalking us.
It's if it's sitting up there with the headlights on.
Yeah, like whether it's a vehicle or not. Well, it's definitely a vehicle because I heard it.
Yeah, I heard it. It was a little, Ford Connect van.
Well, why is he just stood there or sat there like stalking?
Mate. If you look here, if you stand here, right, it looks like there's two.
When the vehicle finally disappeared, Brendan launched a drone to scan the hillside. Instead of clarity, it revealed something more unsettling.
Apologies if you guys can't really see much because of how dark it is, but there's definitely something or someone at the brow of that hill.
Yeah. See, it's picking up something.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, it's a fire. Look at the heat off. Look at the glow off it.
The hell are they doing setting fires at this time of night? Car's gone past twice.
What, so we have 2 vehicles.
Yeah.
Go past. One was a van, definitely a little van.
Yeah.
And the other was,
Land Rover.
yeah,
A large fire burning in the middle of nowhere, with no visible people or explanation. Despite the disturbing events, they stayed through the night. Neither felt at ease. Steve repeatedly checked outside, while Brendan remained inside his van, heater running at full power, waiting for daylight. What was meant to be a quiet stay in a peaceful place became one of the most unsettling camping experiences Brendan had ever recorded. Some believe the encounter involved people watching from a distance, while others think something stranger was happening. If you were there, would you stay until morning or leave immediately? Bushman in Blue, run by Al, is usually a channel focused on peaceful wild camps, harsh weather, and the simple enjoyment of spending time outdoors with his dog, Blue. But on March 7, 2022, a winter summit camp in the Lake District pushed the situation far beyond anything he had planned for. The plan itself was simple. Al would hike up Blencathra, enjoy the snow-covered summit, pitch his tent, relax with a couple of beers, and watch the sunset. At first, it felt like a perfect winter overnight stay.
Look at this. It's a steep climb to get to this point, but already you can just see all the mountains in the background, all snow covered. Sun just pouring through the clouds there. Just fantastic.
The snow was light and powdery, the views were clear, and the open sky stretched endlessly ahead. But as night arrived, conditions shifted quickly. Temperatures dropped sharply, falling well below freezing.
Oh, it's chilly. It's a cold one. But nice to get that mat up, and now I'm sat on that. That makes a hell of a difference. So next job, I'm going to get all my hot gear on to keep me warm.
The wind cut through every layer of clothing. The tent shook, snow blew inside, and visibility dropped to almost nothing.
Well, it's getting a bit flappy in here. There's gusts coming through that are really almost annihilating this tent. So hopefully we can stand strong till the morning. The wind is just bringing, if you can see there, look at all that. Just snow just...
Still, Al and Blue stayed put, trusting their gear and riding out the gusts. Then the real danger arrived. A sudden warm front moved in overnight, bringing rain, rising temperatures, and fast snowmelt.
Well, the wind isn't the problem anymore. I need a paddle. Look at this. What the hell am I going to do now?
Within minutes, the area around the tent turned into moving water. The ground softened as meltwater collected and began to flow. Before long, Al realized something was seriously wrong. He was camping in the middle of a forming stream. Water pressed into the tent from all sides.
There's just water everywhere, like 3 inches all the way around everywhere.
The bathtub floor flattened under the pressure, allowing water to surge inside. His gear became soaked, the tent poles strained, and Al and Blue huddled together on the sleeping mat, the only thing keeping them above the freezing water. Outside, the wind battered the tent until one of the poles finally snapped. Hypothermia was no longer just a possibility. If the mat failed, if the tent collapsed, or if temperatures dropped further, the outcome could have been far worse. Al waited for the faintest light of morning, packed up inside the flooded tent, and forced his way back into the storm. The descent was brutal, filled with wind, rain, slush, and no comfort at all. But leaving was safer than staying. By the time he reached lower ground, he was soaked, exhausted, and completely drained. Both Al and Blue made it down safely, though the situation could have ended very differently. Some see this as a sudden weather shift turning dangerous, while others point to how fast conditions can change in the mountains. If you were there, would you stay and wait it out, or leave at the first sign of danger? Novus Wild Camper is a channel run by a solo outdoorsman, usually focused on quiet hikes, simple trips, and relaxed wild camping. This outing began like any other overnight stay, calm and routine, until nightfall brought something that felt out of place. On December 20th, 2021, Mad had been working nearby and decided to spend the night on White Edge. A viewer had suggested the location, and the evening appeared ideal, with a bright moon and a light chill in the air. Unaware a hidden presence would soon reveal itself, he followed the trail past low mist settling in the valleys and chose a spot to pitch his tent. Once camp was set, he slipped into his usual routine, preparing simple noodles, making coffee, and having a drink as the temperature continued to fall. Around 9:30 p.m., Mad climbed into his sleeping bag and tried to sleep. He had camped alone many times before and was familiar with normal wildlife sounds. But as he drifted off, a deep, guttural noise echoed through the darkness.
Right, so I've heard deer, I've heard foxes make some really weird noises at night. But
the sound was unfamiliar. It was not a bark or a scream, but something heavier and rougher, almost like strained breathing between each call. Mad stayed alert as the noise returned, this time seeming closer.
I'm not sure if the camera picked it up, but God knows what it is. It's quite a weird, guttural sound. I'll try and boost it on the edit, see if you can hear it, because that is really weird. Did you hear that? That's quite eerie. It does not sound like a deer. Definitely doesn't sound like a fox.
He remained still, listening for movement outside the tent. Nothing followed. He stayed zipped inside, avoiding the use of a light. The darkness felt complete, and whatever made the sound felt close enough to unsettle him more than any previous night outdoors. After a while, he tried to settle again, but the tension lingered.
I'm going to zip up and put my earplugs in, I think. Try and get some sleep, and hopefully I'll still be here in the morning.
Something about the sound did not sit right. By sunrise, Matt had already been awake for hours. The temperature had dropped to around 2 degrees Celsius, and condensation covered the tent walls. The deep cry did not return, but another strange noise replaced it.
I'm acting like I've just woke up. It's about 7 o'clock. I've been up since 5. Just trying to get some morning shots. Don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's a very weird sounding bird. It sounds like a kookaburra with a sore throat. It's not going to do it now.
This time it was a harsh, rattling bird call unlike anything he recognized. Nothing like the usual Peak District birds. The sound stayed near the camp until he began packing up. In daylight, the ridge looked calm again, almost harmless. Still, the memory of that deep, guttural sound followed him. He took one last look at the campsite, shouldered his pack, and walked back toward the car. The night had been unsettling, and whatever moved through the area made one thing clear: he had not been alone. Some believe the sounds came from rare wildlife, while others think something unknown was nearby. If you heard those noises alone at night, would you stay calm or leave immediately? Known for quiet stealth trips, fall landscapes, and slipping into overlooked places, the Northwest Wind is a channel run by Sam. That tone didn't last during a late-season camp inside a corn maze. On October 26, 2023, Sam approached the site from the woods, forcing his way through thick brush and mud to stay unseen.
I've been bushwhacking for a few minutes. It's right up over this hill. Trying not to get my feet wet, but it's mud butt brooks back here. I gotta find a better way in.
Inside the tall rows, the mood shifted. Every step caused movement. Every gust stirred the stalks, until the maze no longer felt empty.
Just trying to get a feel for where would be best to set up. I don't want to be seen in here. I'm at the bottom of a hill, and there's a nice overlook at the top. So there's plenty of people around. It's peak foliage, and this is like a very scenic spot. People come take photos all the time. So I gotta definitely lay low for a while. Kind of sketchy, a little sketchy. It is kind of spooky in here, not gonna lie. Sorry if I'm talking quiet. I just don't want anybody to know that I'm in here at all. The maze is closed today, so I'm not supposed to be in the maze. That's why I came today.
Because the maze was closed for the day, Sam knew he needed to stay low and quiet while searching for a hidden place to set up. Voices drifted in from the edges of the field.
Yeah, see, you hear people back there? I hope the camera could pick that up. You probably could. I just need to get to my spot.
Quads could be heard in the distance, and a dog barked nearby. Since the maze was officially closed, any movement inside would immediately draw attention. When night fell and the maze went completely dark, the situation escalated quickly.
I hear somebody coming on a quad or a side-by-side. There's somebody over here on a quad. Oh, shit. That was literally 10 feet from me. Hang on. They're literally like right there.
Engines passed far too close, and flashlights swept through the rows only yards away. Sam soon realized something he had overlooked during planning. The people who owned the farm did not just work the land, they lived right next to the maze.
I keep hearing people very close by, and those side-by-sides and machines have went by several times. I looked at the Google map again. The people that own this farm, their house is actually here. The people that own and live on this farm are actually 100 yards away. So I'm gonna bail, because the last thing I want is to get shot or be seen out here in the middle of the night and people wonder what the hell's going on their property. It's just not worth the risk. Those are flashlights. I can't film now because the screens are on.
Their house and yard were only about 100 yards from where he planned to camp. The quad circled again, closer this time, with voices and lights moving through the area. What began as simple stealth camping suddenly became the risk of being mistaken for an intruder moving around a family's property at night.
They're roaming around here for some reason. I don't know if it's because I'm in here or not, but I'm not taking the risk. I knew this place was commercial, but I didn't realize their house was right there. They got a pool, a tennis court, they're rich. I did not know they lived here, and I'm not gonna get caught in their backyard. That's a good way to get shot. They're close, they're really close. I'm not scared of getting caught. I'm scared of getting caught by homeowners in the middle of the night, so I just gotta get out of here. I think they're looking for me. I promise you I didn't plan this to end up like this. That's the side-by-side, it's close. I gotta get the hell out of here now.
One wrong move or misunderstanding could have ended badly. Recognizing the danger, Sam chose to abandon the attempt.
All right, I'm out of the cornfield, but now I gotta cross a road and go back into the woods. There's lights on back there. Do you hear them in the background? I just gotta go, I gotta go. Okay, I gotta go. They're still going around the property. I'm in the woods. Oh, okay, they're coming down here again. I don't know why okay, hang on. I think I'm technically off their property now, but it's pitch black and I'm in the woods. And yeah, their back porch is right at the corner of that corn maze. I'm just not comfortable sleeping in somebody's backyard. If it were me and I saw somebody in my backyard with a flashlight late at night, I'd be outside with a weapon. I'm not gonna puff my chest. It just wouldn't end well. It wouldn't be a good situation.
With his heart racing, he timed his movements with the wind, pushed through the corn, and made his way deeper into the woods.
I gotta cross this creek. Try and get across these logs. I'm like thick in it. I'm deep in it right now. I had to turn it on because I don't know where I'm going. Ow. Oh, I just nutted myself. Oh my god. I fell on this log. Oh, I just nutted myself.
A creek crossing, unstable logs, and a long walk in complete darkness followed. By the time he reached the road, he was muddy, bruised, and frustrated. He treated the experience as a failed attempt, a lesson learned, and something to move on from. Still, the corn maze was an encounter that clearly stayed with him. Some believe the activity came from landowners checking their property, while others think Sam's presence triggered the response. If you were in that situation, would you risk staying or leave immediately? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.